What's going on, everybody? Kalipis Tech here, coming back at you with another video. This is the beginner's guide to the BLU View 3. In this video, I'm going to be giving you some tips and tricks for this phone to help you get more comfortable using it. Now before we go any further, I do want to remind you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to learn more about this phone, be sure to check out my full review of it as well. But with that being said, let's get started. Now the first thing I want to show you is actually how to get into your settings. Now for some, if you're used to using Android phones or smartphones in general, this is a real easy thing that you're probably not even going to think about. But if you're new to smartphones, it can be a little confusing. I know I've had a lot of comments on my previous videos where people are a little confused, and there are multiple ways to get into your settings, which I will be using consistently throughout this video. So just to prevent any confusion, the way you get to your settings is either through the settings app, which is normally in the app drawer you access when you go like this. And the settings is somewhere in here, so as you can see it's right here, but I personally put the settings app on my home screen. To do this, press and hold on the settings icon like this and drag it. So as you can see, I can drag it anywhere on the home screen, but I basically just put the settings app right here, and you can do the same thing if you want. The other way to get to settings is simply by pulling down the shade like this. Pull it down one more time, and it's right here, this little gear icon. This is also going to take you to the same spot. So just in case you're new to Android or smartphones in general, that's how you get to your settings. I know some people have been a little confused about that, so just in case you are one of those people, that's how you do it. Now with that being said, the next thing I want to show you is how to change your wallpaper. So to do this, we're going to go to settings. From here, go to display. From here, go to wallpaper. And we got really two different options here. You can either choose from your photos or wallpapers already on the phone. So pretty straightforward. In my opinion, I do think the actual stock wallpapers look pretty good, and there's a pretty decent selection. And then again, you can also choose your photos, so whatever you want on here. And as a side note, there's no actual gallery app on this phone. As you can see it right here, we do have Google Photos, and that basically is the gallery app on this phone. And don't worry, it does work the same way. Now changing the wallpaper through your settings is simple enough, but I'm going to show you an even easier and quicker way to do it. So all you got to do is press and hold your finger on any blank spot on your home screen like this. And as you can see, this little menu is going to show up. So we got wallpapers right here. You can also add and remove widgets and customize some general home screen settings as well. So that's a nice little menu. If you really want to personalize your home screen and make it your own, you can do that so it's all in one place instead of having to find everything individually from the settings menu. So once again, in case you missed it, all you need to do to get that menu is press and hold your finger anywhere on the home screen as long as it's a blank spot. And there we go. Now we're going to take a look at the sound menu. This is definitely an important thing to configure right when you get your phone, because I know some people like to have the ringtone, some people like vibrate, or maybe you just want mute instead, or a combination of everything depending on whether it's a notification or ringtone. Whatever the case may be, let's take a look at how we can customize our sounds on this phone. So first things first, we're going to go to settings. From here, go to sound. We got several different volumes here. First of all, the media volume. So if you're listening to music, watching a video, playing a game, any of that stuff, that's what this is going to control. Then we got the call volume, which is basically the volume of your earpiece when you're on the phone. I don't know why it's set to 0 right now. Ring and notification volume. On this phone, for whatever reason, they combined it into one. As you can see, I'm currently on vibrate mode. And if you want to mute it, let me show you a quick trick for that. So hit either of the volume keys. Tap on this icon. As you can see, it's on mute right now. And if you want to unmute it, tap it again. And it's back to sound. Hit it one more time, and you can put it back on vibrate. So real easy to do that. You don't even need to go to the sound menu. So definitely really convenient. And then at the bottom, we got alarm volume. Pretty self-explanatory. Vibrate for calls. Now this is only if you have your sound on, because if you're on vibrate, it's always going to vibrate no matter what, of course. But if you do have sound mode on, so for example, again, when your ringtone is actually on, it's not going to vibrate by default. But if you go here, you can have it vibrate as well. And then we got do not disturb here. You can do it from this menu, but the easier and faster way to do it is by pulling down your shade. And do not disturb is this icon right here, this little minus. As you can see, the phone is now in do not disturb when it's highlighted, but if I tap it again, it goes back to normal. There's also a shortcut to prevent ringing. So in case you're wondering, the way to do this is simply by hitting the power key and the volume up key at the same time like this. And it's going to put your phone in vibrate mode. But if you wanted to do mute instead, you can tap here and change it to mute. And now if we do it one more time, as you can see, the phone is now in mute. At the bottom here, you can also change your ringtone. As you can see, there are quite a few options here. And if you want to do a custom ringtone, you can hit add ringtone at the bottom. If you want to change your notification and alarm sounds, go to advanced. And those options are right down here as well. Then at the very bottom, you can also turn on dial pad tones, screen locking sound, charging sounds and vibration, touch sounds. And as you can see, touch vibration is on by default, but if you want to turn it off, you always can. The next thing I'm going to show you is your notification menu. Now the most important part of the notification menu is controlling which apps can actually send you notifications, because if you have a lot of apps, you might get a bunch of meaningless notifications, and not only can that be annoying, but it can also make it easier to miss something important. So to get to your notifications, let's go to settings. From here, go to apps and notifications. From this menu, go to notifications. And here we are. The most important thing here is the recently sent section. So go to see all from last 7 days. And this is basically going to show you all the apps that have recently sent you notifications. And whichever ones you don't want notifications from, you can toggle them off here. Now keep in mind, there's some things you can't turn notifications off from, but those are really rare and they're really just system related stuff. And it's really unlikely that that's going to bother you anyway. You can also hide notifications on the lock screen if you want. I personally did it to prevent clutter, but by default it will show up. Then if we go to advanced, we can hide silent notifications in the status bar, and that's basically for those system notifications you can't really turn off. You can silence them, and that way you'll still get them in your notification center when you pull down the shade. But if you have this feature on, they're not going to show up in your status bar. This can be nice because it gets rid of clutter, and if you know about it, there's no point in having it up there. But at the end of the day, it really just comes down to personal preference. Another interesting feature that I know some of you do ask about is the blink light. So in case you don't know what this is, it's basically an LED light that blinks when you get a notification. And most phones nowadays don't have it, but this one actually does, and it is on by default. So if that is a feature you like, then you'll be happy to know you do get it with this phone. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to change your screen lock. Now unfortunately with this phone, we don't get a fingerprint scanner or face unlock, but luckily you still can change your screen lock. And to do this, we're going to go to settings. From here, go down to security. And from this menu, the screen lock is right here. As you can see, I have mine set to swipe, which is basically no security at all, but you can also use a pattern, PIN, or a password. Unfortunately, again, there's no fingerprint scanner or face unlock, which is really too bad because in this day and age, even for really entry-level phones like this, I feel like any phone made in 2022 should have at least one or the other, but luckily for security, we do at least get a few options here. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to take a screenshot. Now this is a real easy thing to do, but not every phone has the same way of doing it, and if you're new to Android or smartphones in general, it might be a little tricky. So to take a screenshot with the BLU View 3, all you need to do is press and hold the power key and the volume down key like this for just a second. And there we go. This little menu is going to show up. It doesn't last long, but you can share, edit, and that's pretty much it. Now in addition to screenshots, this phone can also make screen recordings, also really easy to do. All you need to do is pull down your shade once, twice, and the screen record start button is right here. Tap on this. It's going to ask you a couple questions. To record audio, by default it's going to be microphone. You can also have it record device audio, or you could do device audio and microphone. So if you wanted to record whatever's playing on the phone and your voice as well, you can select that. But be sure no matter what you select to toggle this on, otherwise it's not going to do audio at all. You can also show touches on the screen, and once you have everything selected, hit start. There's going to be a little countdown right here. And now we're recording, and that's pretty much it. Of course, just leave this on until you're done, and then when you're ready to end the recording, pull down the shade, tap right here, and it's going to be saved right to your photos. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to turn on your dark theme. So to get to dark mode, we're going to go to settings. From here, go to display, and dark theme is right here at the top. Toggle it on, and as you can see, we are in dark mode now. Now if you want, you can also have it turn on automatically. To do that, go here. And as you can see, there's a schedule section, and you can have it either turn on and off at a custom time or from sunset to sunrise. Now the next couple things I want to show you are also conveniently in the display menu. The first one being nightlight. Now a lot of the time people end up using this along with dark theme, and basically what it does is tints your screen in an amber color, and this is going to help filter out some of that blue light that can be a little bit harder on some people's eyes. So if we go to nightlight, turn it on, as you can see, the screen looks a little bit warmer now. You can also play with the intensity so you can make it stronger or a bit more subtle. And you can also schedule it. So just like dark theme, you can have it turn on at a custom time or from sunset to sunrise. The other thing we got here is adaptive brightness. And what this is going to do is adjust the brightness of the screen based on your environment. So if you're in a really bright area, the screen is going to brighten up a little so it's easier to see. But if you're in a darker area where you don't need it as bright, it's going to dim to save some battery. So if we turn this on, as you can see, the screen did get a little bit darker. Now adaptive brightness is cool and all, but it's not for everyone. Me personally, I like to have my brightness at 100% at all times, but if you've never used adaptive brightness, definitely give it a try. Now the last thing I want to show you is how to change your screen timeout time. Now this is really important because it's pretty much going to be different for everyone. It really just depends on how you use your phone. If you're consuming a lot of content, maybe you're reading, watching videos, doing stuff like that, then you're going to want it to be a little bit longer, because when you're consuming content, you don't want your phone falling asleep on you all the time. But if you're not really doing a whole lot with your phone, in that case you might want a slightly shorter screen timeout time, because if you do leave your screen on and don't lock it all the time, with a longer screen timeout time, it's just going to stay on and drain your battery. So to get to the screen timeout time, once again, we are in the main display menu right now. Go to advanced, and screen timeout is right here. So as you can see, for the sake of this video, I do have it set to 30 minutes, but you can set it as short as 15 seconds. Now again, this is really going to be different for everyone. It depends on how you're actually using your phone. So if you're not quite sure about that yet, definitely play around with it and see which setting works best for you. Maybe start at 2 or 5 minutes and go from there. Because again, it is going to be different for everyone. It really just depends on how you actually use your phone. But this concludes my beginner's guide to the BLU View 3. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you found this information useful as well. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to learn more about this phone, be sure to check out my full review of it on the channel. But that's it for this video. As always, I will see you in the next one.